Cyber Tech Critters: How to Champion Online Safety Through Storytelling. That's what we're going to be talking about on this episode of Story Connect, a Pioneer podcast. Hi, I'm your host, Megan McCoy-No, one of the storytellers at Pioneer Utility Resources, and I am joined by Jenn Wilson-Kolesar. She's the brand manager at CTC, a telco serving communities in central Minnesota, and then partnering with other utilities to offer internet access across the state, which is pretty darn cool, I think. Jenn, thank you so much for joining us today. Now,
Yeah, thank you.
I
Thanks for
saw you.
having me. We're excited to
No,
be here.
this is exciting for me because we were talking about this earlier. I see you at conferences and we're always like waving and stuff. And when I saw you last fall at a conference, you were showing off something pretty cool to a couple other folks there. And I like barged in and said, "Let me see what you're doing," because it was so cool. And for folks watching on YouTube, it is this amazing children's book called Cyber Tech Critters. And it's for online safety. And I was blown away because I hadn't seen any other folks doing this yet. I've seen some electric co-op folks doing things like this, but not something for broadband, which I thought was really cool. And I'm wondering, just break this down for us a little bit. Where did the idea come from to write a kid's book about being safe online?
Yeah, so it's been a fun process over the last year or so, kind of working on this. Our marketing team is like a very creative group and fun, and we've always kind of talked about the idea of doing something that related to cybersecurity for kids, a book. But I think what really kind of sparked the idea, and I was talking with Jackie, who authored the book that you met at Story Connect,
Yeah.
but really gained traction at the 2025 Story Connect when, what was it, Patrick Wood with his book.
Yeah.
He shared that, and we just really like found a lot of inspiration that really kind of kicked off that idea of like, you know what, this would be a really good opportunity, a way to like get in front of the community, get in front of children with an idea of how to keep kids safe online. So that's kind of how it originally started. And then yeah, so that was the beginning of it. And so we started slowly rolling it, like a slow roll of brainstorming, and
Yeah.
then yeah.
Nice. Well, how to make my heart happy. Mentioning idea at Story Connect, then sparked something else. It's the whole reason we have that conference. So I
Yes.
love that this started from something you heard there, and then you took it and turned it into your own. I loved reading this. And my daughter read it with me. She had a lot of fun. Your setting for the book is in Connect Wood, where four animal friends are playing together. There's a fox, a rabbit, a turtle, and this crazy squirrel named Scammy, and he gets into trouble when a stranger keeps offering him free acorns, which I feel I relate to a little bit when I'm hungry. How did you decide what type of critters children could relate to?
Yeah, so I'm gonna go ahead and give Jackie Avenson, who wrote this book, like the
Yeah,
credit here, credit where credit's
she's
due.
wonderful.
She is just wonderful, but I think she really kind of took to heart. She has a young daughter, and just understanding, looking at how kids interact with other children's books, and we wanted to find things that were, felt familiar to kids, something that was a little symbolic. And so when you look at these characters, they have, each bring kind of like a natural personality that kids can align with. So like the fox, Fiber the fox, he's a little clever. You have Scammy the squirrel, who's a little curious, a little too impulsive. And then from more of a, kids aren't going to recognize this, but maybe the adults do. And a way to kind of tie it to CTC is we really wanted to tie in some like internet broadband, references in there. So it's
Yeah.
Fiber the fox is his name, and we have Rowdy the rabbit, and so just kind of adding some little, Connectwood, the name of the town. Just really wanted to embed some of those broadband themes throughout. It's subtle. Kids may not recognize it, but we know,
Well,
and parents are going to read
and
it.
then I think I looked at the title Cybertech Critters, and it was like CTC. That's a nice little
Absolutely.
Easter egg right in
Yes.
there. Makes so much sense. So I love the work that Jackie did on this. You also, the illustrations, there was a story there, right? With Bryce Killian?
Yes, Bryce. So we had the opportunity to have an intern last summer, Bryce. He came in when we interviewed him. We kind of talked about, the different projects he's worked on in school, different stuff like that. Um, and we kind of threw out the idea of like, we might want to do a children's book this summer. Is that something you would feel comfortable illustrating? And he, very polite, very said like, yeah, I definitely would. And we kind of ended it there. Internship started, and
Hmm.
I had Bryce working on some digital ads and some, social media posts, and really wanted to get him exposed to like give him a good internship where he could, touch multiple different projects.
Yeah.
But really, I think what helped kind of kick this and move this forward is we started noticing post-it notes on his desk of characters, like illustrations, and it was like he's he's interested, like he's ready to go. And so that's when we really started moving forward with getting the book written so he could start illustration. And he truly has a passion and a gift for illustration. So
Yes.
his just attention to detail and how much his heart went into this book, it was really awesome to see him kind of just dive right in. So
Well, I love it. I love that you had the right people in place at the right time to make the idea a reality. It's always the dream that folks have for all that to line up right.
yes,
So you have this book. Now, what do you hope kids take away from this?
yeah. So I mean, I think looking at it as taken away is looking at making sure kids, it's bringing awareness around safety online and really getting kids to stop and think, before they click on something or before
Yeah.
they react, to understand that the internet is an amazing tool, but there's also some not great things happening as well. So making sure that they're aware and how to stay safe there. So if they're able to, you know, look at everything, like that, to know that not everything that's free and that's offered as free and fun is always safe.
Yeah.
Another thing we really hope is like for them to know that it's okay to ask an adult, is this, and then to trust their instincts on what they're clicking on. That's if the kids could walk away with one of those things, I feel like this
Yeah.
is a success. So
I love that. I mean, again, no one's going to offer you free acorns for a year. Like that's just not it's not a
no,
reality. And, if you're a squirrel, you got to stand back for a minute, listen to your friends and not
yeah,
immediately um click the button.
yeah,
Um so
it's
I
it. Oh, go ahead.
no,
I was just gonna say, I think too, I was talking with Jackie about this, and we're just understand that the internet's a different world than when we grew up. You
yeah.
know, her daughter's 3 years old and can navigate her phone just just so well, and she knows what the YouTube button is, or she knows, and so it's really ingraining in kids at a young age, internet safety and knowing that like 3-year-old Jen is very different from her three. We really need to look at it from the perspective and meet kids where they're at
I
today.
love that.
And so that's kind of one of the big takeaways of this book.
Well, I love the idea for the book. I love how you got the idea and how you made it your own. And I think a lot of other folks are like, "Oh, this could be fun." But let's talk about how you made it a reality. You had the writer, you had the illustrator, but what kind of time and budget did it take to create the draft and then get it published?
Yes. So when I looked at time wise, it took Jackie about a week to go through and write, edit, kind of do some different revisions. Of course, we used a little bit of AI to help with brainstorming on things,
Sure.
as we all do. It's a very awesome tool to help with. I love it for brainstorming. Um, And so we used some of that there to help with that. So it took her about a week from start to finish to like knowing that we're like, it's a go, we have an illustrator ready. So that was about a week. And then Bryce, I think, really started moving forward with concepts of illustration styles, character development. And he was a part time intern. And so from July to the beginning of August, he worked on this book.
Okay.
About 20 hours a week, give or take, because we had him still working on some other projects. So
Sure.
we wanted to make sure he had a well-rounded internship, not just focus on one thing. So the majority of the budget, I would say, goes to illustration,
Okay.
just because it takes longer than you think. And if you want to get a specific style down,
Yeah.
Bryce also he really dove into this too with looking at it from an ADA perspective. He really paid a really close attention to the color palette he used, making
Okay.
sure that it was ADA compliant for kids with like color blindness, so the contrast was there. He really paid attention to details, so I very much wanted to give him that time and space to do that. So
Well, and normally, like um, we hear a lot of illustrators come through with our little indie bookshop, and they'll talk about the time it takes to write a book or illustrate a book, and it's a lot longer. So it's still
yeah,
amazing that even paying, spending time to focus on the details. I love that he focused on making sure that all kids could see this and enjoy and access these lessons. I think that's huge.
yeah.
But still, I mean, that's not that long of a time.
No, and
So it,
we were on a time crunch. His internship was ending in, early September, so we wanted to make sure we had. This wasn't a type of project where I felt like somebody else could pick it up, mid
right. No,
illustration.
it's his style, definitely.
It's his, styles. I really wanted, him to be able to finish it. I worked on getting it aligned for print. And then we're starting out small with it too.
Okay.
We ordered 100 copies to start with. Um, and then we just ordered a second 100, maybe 2 months ago as well. So it's a kind of a slow ramp, uh, as we're, kind of rolling it out. Just in the chance that we needed to make some edits, we didn't want to order 500 and then
Sure.
have.
Well, so speaking to that, you're ordering small batches of it, which is smart. Um, how are you rolling it out to the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So we started out in January with a couple just smaller social posts of, hey, check this out. As more of an awareness that we did this. We hadn't put them up for sale yet. We hadn't got them out necessarily to the community. We waited till March, which is National Readers Month, I believe.
Timing is
And
everything.
yes, and so we decided to kind of use that as our launching spot. And so what we're doing is we started out with a kind of an internal program of if any employee wanted a copy of the book to bring to the school, to their child or grandchild's school to read it, we'd donate a copy to that school. And so that was kind of one of the ways we were getting it out there. We posted on social media. They're for sale in our lobbies. All proceeds go to our CTC Cares, which is CTC's nonprofit. And so we really wanted to like find a way to leverage it in multiple ways. So not
Yeah.
just, I mean, we have this cybersecurity awareness, but might as well make it benefit CTC Cares as well. So all profits go there. And then we do are working on a kind of a bigger plan too. We have a new community engagement employee who is kind of starting to is going to be building relationships within the community, and we're gonna this will be a really good tool for her. So we're still working on getting complete rollout and figuring out what we want to
Yeah.
do with it, but and getting it out there. But so far, I mean, we've moved through quite a few copies. I don't have a total at the moment, but
No, it's
we
okay.
are, yeah, we're excited to get it out there.
It's always great to have another tool that you can use, especially if you have another community engagement person on your staff. I mean, to be able to equip them with this book automatically gives them a leg up, which is really helpful, I think. I know you've been rolling it out slowly, but how has it been received by the community? Have you heard any feedback so far?
Yeah, so far it's been good. We've gotten good feedback. People have enjoyed the stories. They found it relatable. The kids have enjoyed it. So far so good. Um,
Okay.
yeah, yeah.
And then you said something pretty darn cool. If a listener loves this idea too, and they want to use your story in the community, how can they do that?
Yeah, at this point, we don't have it online for sale, but they can go ahead and reach out directly to us at marketing at goctc.com,
Yeah.
and we can get a book mailed out. So they can purchase through that way. We can go those routes. We are, starting to brainstorm ideas to how to collaborate with other cooperatives, with
Which
getting
y'all are really good at.
maybe. So we're still in that brainstorming phase. So more
Yeah.
to come on that, on
Okay.
maybe some more customized options. But at this point, if they are interested in getting some copies, just reach out to marketing at goctc.com, and
Love
we
it.
can hook you up.
And I've got a couple copies that you sent me that I'm going to bring to Story Connect in 2027 that folks can see in the reel there, which is always
Awesome.
fun. So, one last question before I let you go, so you can chase the squirrel and again explain that nuts are not always free. You've got to work for your food. But if a utility is trying to reach kids in a new way, what is the number one thing that you would recommend?
Oh, that's a great question. Honestly, I would say it's meeting kids where they're at these
Yeah.
days. Meeting them with a story, meeting them um, with visuals. Not a lecture on cybersecurity. They're not going to respond well to that. I don't have kids, but I know that.
Yeah,
So I think
we all
it's
know.
trying to find ways to meet them where they're at is my biggest recommendation. And I feel like books are a great way to do that. So yeah,
I love that, and I agree. Well, thank you so much for sharing your story with Utility Pioneers. She is Jenn Wilson-Kolesar from CTC, and I'm your host, Megan McCoy-No from Pioneer Utility Resources. And until we talk again, keep telling your story.
Story Connect is a production of Pioneer Utility Resources. Send questions to hello@pioneer.coop and learn more about our member-owned marketing agency at pioneer.coop.